Hello, my magnificent misfits. Good to see you again. Happy New Year. In this episode, I want to talk about gathering the courage to be yourself, to not care what other people think about you, to get confident. We'll talk about that. I want to talk about what's going on in Venezuela. Haven't talked about politics in a while, but we'll dive in just a little bit, shallow end of the pool. I just got a couple of things in my mind about what's going on in Venezuela right now. And I want to talk about gathering the courage to make changes in our lives. It's the new year. Today I'm recording this on the 3rd. I'm recording this on the full moon. A lot of people have full moon rituals and release things that no longer serve them. And so that's what I wanted to dive into. And I want to talk about manifesting my dream life and what that means. So let's get Venezuela out of the way, okay? I'm going to talk about it briefly, but I've just gone through my Instagram feed and it's just filled with Venezuela. I voted for Trump. I'm not embarrassed to say it, but I definitely don't like a lot of the direction that he's taking and a lot of things he's doing in this country. And that's what I want to talk about is I voted for him mostly for making America great again, for making America first again, not sending billions and billions of dollars to these other countries that really have nothing to do with us as a people. Of course, it fattens the pockets of those that are making the laws and in charge of things around here. But I was hoping that things would change with him, and they aren't. And I'm a little frustrated about it. I saw today that he removed the president of Venezuela. And I was like, oh, we're still doing that, huh? Still just removing other presidents that we don't like. That's cool. Oh, it's a country rich in oil. Oh, that's interesting. Wonder why they did that. Like, what are we doing here? And I got a big problem with it. And so this is my perspective as an American, where I just want to focus on us. Why can't we just keep our nose in our own business? Why do we got to go over here and go over there? And of course, the answer is obvious. Power, control, corruption, all of the faves, right? We go into these countries and remove their leaders and put leaders in that are America friendly, right? That will do our bidding. And I don't like it. But I can sense change is coming because I'm not the only one that thinks this way. And I think that after Trump gets out of office, that there needs to be somebody. I think the Americans are kind of getting sick of this. And I think there's going to be somebody that's going to be more on board with this attitude of America first. I feel like there's a big wave coming of people like me that believe that. And whether it's a Democrat or a Republican or a third party candidate, good luck, bud. Good luck to the third party candidate. But I don't care who it is. I just want us to be taken care of before all of these other countries, before Israel, before Ukraine, before, whoever we send our billions of dollars to ensure we have control and, military control and power. I just loathe it. So I just rolled my eyes this morning because I just feel helpless. Like, okay, well, we did it again, removed another president. Now we're threatening to pick a fight with Iran. Like, Iran better not do things we don't like or we're going to send our jets in. Like, what are we doing? And it's easy to think that everybody believes this, right? Of course, everybody doesn't want more war. Of course, everybody doesn't want to oust these presidents. Like, what are we doing? I'm sure the Venezuelans are furious with us for going into their country and removing their president. But then I started looking at the comments online today and I was like, wait, what? And almost every comment was from Venezuelans. I was looking at all these different all these different, media sites, and almost all of the comments from Venezuelans themselves were saying, thank you, America. Thank you, Mr. Trump. They were viewing him as a savior. And I was like, what? That is not what I expected to hear. I expected these Venezuelans to be furious, like these stupid Americans coming in and they need to mind their own business, stay out of our country and ousting our president. But they were saying, thank you, America. You saved us. And I was like, huh, that's real interesting. That's a different perspective that I hadn't thought about. I didn't think that people would be clapping when we come into their country and oust their president. And another vast majority of the comments that surprised me in all of these media posts were a lot of Brazilian people. I don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about the Brazilian presidente, but apparently they're not happy with him. And a vast majority of the comments were Brazilians saying, please, Mr. President, please, America, come and do the same thing to Brazil. Get rid of this guy. We need something new. Please help us. Please save us. And I was like, huh, that's real interesting. So just a little perspective talk today. I'm not going to dive too much deeper into it, into world politics, but just interesting to hear different perspectives, right? Because I thought I had the right perspective, of course. Like, we need to stay out of other countries, but these other countries, I'm sure there's Venezuelans and Brazilians that would be upset that we came in, but I don't know, something to think about, right? Okay, let's switch gears. Let's talk about just being yourself, right? Getting the confidence to not care what other people think about you. What's bringing this up is it's come in my forefront this last week. I've been hanging out with a lot of family that was visiting down here from out of town, which is fantastic. And I was talking to my precious niece, and we were talking about confidence, right? Because these last few years, I've been working really hard on confidence, on specifically not caring what people think about me. Because my whole life being my 20s and my 30s, I really cared what people thought about me. And I put on this facade, this cool guy mask, like, oh, I don't care what anybody thinks about me. But deeply, truly, if somebody made fun of my hair or somebody made a sideways comment about me or made fun of me, I would be devastated. I would crack a joke, but I would cry myself to sleep that night, right? Or drink myself to sleep that night. I would be devastated. And I came to a conclusion a few years ago, it's like 5 years ago maybe, when I thought, like, I want to change that. I want to stop being so sensitive because I'm choosing to be offended by that. And I don't want that to affect me anymore. So what can I do to become more confident? What can I do to just be myself and not give a rip when anybody thinks about me? And so that's what I was talking to my niece about. And she was asking how to be more confident. She was asking how to just be yourself. And I said, you know what I did? I'll tell you guys. Take notes. Get out your pens and papers, guys. Let's take some notes here. This is exactly what I did. For example, I got a long list, but for example, I was petrified to go out in public looking less than perfect, right? I grew up in a house with my mom. My mom grew up in a household where you had to be perfect, right? Every hair had to be in place, got to be on your best behavior, mind your P's and Q's. Otherwise, it'll reflect poorly on mom and dad, and don't you dare freaking do that. So that's how she grew up, and therefore that's how she raised us in the same way of, like, whether it's intentional or not. I mean, we all just do our best as our parents, so I'm sure she's doing her best, but it created this thing within me that I had to be perfect in public. And so I would always, before I left the house, I would iron all of my clothes to make sure there were no wrinkles on them. Like, I was hardcore about it. I'd spend a lot of time in front of the mirror, making sure everything's all, okay, we're good to go here, making it all perfect. And so the idea of going into public wearing my pajamas, like sweatpants, was horrifying. You couldn't pay me to do that. I would be mortified to be seen in public wearing sweatpants, like some kind of a fat slob, right? That's how I was raised. And so I thought, like, okay, we're going to tackle this thing. So I thought the best way to tackle it is just to dive into the deep end. And so I put on some sweatpants and a grubby t-shirt, and I went to the grocery store dressed like a complete slob. And I was mortified. I was going up and down the aisles. I would not make eye contact with anybody. I was terrified that they were going to judge me or look at me sideways or like scoff at me, like, who's this scumbag walking down aisle 7, right? And so I went up and down every aisle. I did a path, like, because I'm doing it intentionally. So I just went up and down aisle 1, aisle 2, aisle 3, through the meat department. I made a full display of my slovenly, my slovenly clothes, just so I could rip the Band-Aid off and get less nervous about it. And then as soon as I hit all the aisles, I ran out to my car and drove home and, like, was shaking. I was so mortified. And then the next day, I did it again. I wore the clothes again, and I went to Target, and I went up and down all the aisles. And this time I started getting a little bolder. I was like, you know what? I'm going to start to make eye contact. So I'm not going to be afraid to look at people. And you know what I realized, guys? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody was looking at me. Nobody was talking to me. Nobody was pointing at me and laughing. Nobody cares. Okay? That's the lesson is here. Nobody cares. Everybody's so worried about themselves. Nobody's looking at you, right? And this is what I told my niece. The people that are looking at you and pointing at you and laughing at you and making fun of you, they're insecure themselves, okay? I said, confident people don't do that. Confident people don't point the finger and call people fat or ugly or why are they wearing that ugly shirt? Why is their hair so messy? Nobody cares, right? And the people that do care are going through the same thing you are. They're insecure. A few years ago, when I started this journey of confidence, I bought a brand new shirt at the store. I had kind of started losing weight. I used to be fat Matt, as I used to call him. I used to be fat Matt. I used to be about 80 pounds heavier. And I'd started losing a couple of lbs, and I bought myself a new shirt, and it was a little tight. Little tight, but I thought, like, you know what? New me, I'm going to try to feel confident, and I kind of feel good in this green shirt. It makes me feel nice, and I was kind of bursting out of the seams from this thing. An extra large I was in between sizes. So like an extra large, I was swimming in it, and I got the large, which was a little tight. So I was kind of in sausage mode. It was a button-down shirt, and the buttons were a little taut when I was wearing that bad boy. But I thought, like, who cares? I'm trying to be confident here. I'm going to wear the stupid shirt. So it was back when I was married. We were going to a barbecue. And it was at a house with a bunch of people that I had no idea who they were, which again would cause great anxiety to me at the time, right? I've gotten over that as well. But I thought, like, you know what? I'm going to wear my new green shirt. So I put my green shirt on and I wanted to parade it to the barbecue. And my wife kind of looked at me. She's like, it's a little tight, don't you think? And I was like, oh, that triggered me. She wasn't trying to hurt me. I'm not blaming her whatsoever. I'm just telling the story. But I was like, you know what? You're right. It is too tight. And now I'm embarrassed. And I'm going to go back and put something else on that I'm more comfortable in. So I changed the shirt and I put a different shirt on, my fat shirt, right? So I could swim in it and feel comfortable. And a little voice inside of me, my intuition, my soul perhaps, said, put the green shirt on. Put the new green shirt on and stop caring what people think about you. Stop caring what your wife thinks about you. Stop caring about these people that you don't even know at the barbecue. Put the damn shirt on and get over it. Rip the Band-Aid off. And I was like, oh, I don't want to. I do not want to do that. That's scary to me. But I did it. And I was mortified, just like my trip to the grocery store. I was mortified. I hid in the corner in the backyard at the barbecue, hoping that nobody would point at me and laugh at me in the corner. I tried to hide. And then at some point I was like, oh, nobody's looking at me because nobody cares. That's right. These are the stories that I told my sweet little niece. And I tell my kids this all the time as well. Same thing when I was a teenager, just another story. Like I was totally embarrassed when I was a teenager driving around in my car that people would make fun of the music I was listening to. So anytime I was in a parking lot and people were coming nearby and I was blasting and rocking out to a song that I liked back in the 90s, Ace of Base or whatever, I would like turn the music down because I didn't want them to hear me. I didn't want them to judge me. Oh, he's listening to Ace of Base. What an idiot, right? Who listens to Ace of Base? And no, I don't freaking care. Listen to whatever I want. I love these tunes, right? You don't like these tunes? Cool. Change the station. I don't care. Go somewhere else, right? But I had to get there. It took a lot of time. I didn't just flip the confidence switch. That's what we're talking about. It's baby steps. These little things of pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone so that it's no longer scary anymore, right? And it's also about like not forcing other people to comply to your own insecurities. Oftentimes I'll take pictures of my kids, like whatever, for Instagram. And every time I take a picture of the kids, my youngest is always, got a real handsome smile. He's just looking straight at the camera and posing. And my oldest son is a goofball. He's always been a goofball. He's silly. He's the silliest kid I know. And so every time he's posing in the photo, he's sticking his tongue out or, doing some stupid shit. And I'm like, bud, just take a nice fucking photo. Why can't you just smile and look normal? And then I'm like, why am I forcing him to do that? Why am I forcing him to be normal? Right? This is who he is. This is his personality. I'm trying to stifle that by conforming to whatever I think a nice photo should be, because that's how I was raised. Look nice, stand up straight, pull your shirt, like look this way, look that way. It's all composed. It has to look perfect. We need to look like a perfect family or else everything's going to fall off the rails, right? That's the programming I'm trying to break myself free from. So I just caught myself doing that recently during the holidays where I was telling my oldest to stop moving so much, pose, smile, look nice, enough with the silly shit. And I stopped doing that. And so now every time I take a photo, I have one child that's posing like a model, and the other one looks like a lunatic. And I love that. I love that. I don't want to change him anymore, right? And it's just a reflection of me, right? Trying to not trying to perfect myself. And I'm trying to do that in the external as well as the internal. That's why we're talking about it. So being yourself has a lot to do with, just getting rid of the masks. I've talked about that in previous episodes, but it also is tied in with my addiction, with my drinking and my smoking weed and even my drinking coffee. Like all of these things are masking the true me, right? When I'm stoned, that's not the real Matt. It's a mask, right? When I'm drunk, that's a mask. Even when I'm drinking coffee, that's a mask. I'm all jacked up on caffeine, trying to be all hyper and get through the morning. Like that's not the real me. And part of being myself and being confident with who I am at any given moment is letting go of those substances and letting go of those thought patterns that are no longer serving me and allowing me to just be my true essence, just to be me, right? Why can't I just be tired in the morning and just accept that? Well, I got to get all jacked up on coffee, got to be productive, got to have a personality. Why? Why can't I just be me? Some days I'm tired. That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. Why do I gotta drink at night, right? Because I don't want to. I'm trying to mask things that I don't want to feel, right? I don't want to feel that depression. Don't want to feel that loneliness, right? That isolation. Don't want to feel those yucky feelings. Glug, 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 glug. Don't want to feel anxiety at the party. Don't want to feel stressed out going over to a family function. Smoke, 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 smoke. Why am I doing that? I want to just be me. So these last few years, I've been really honing in and focusing on trying to just be me. And it's very refreshing and freeing and definitely not easy. That's why we're talking about it. So I've talked before about alchemy and the philosopher's stone and transformation and transmutation and things of that nature. And what it essentially talks about is getting things down to their purest essence, right? Getting rid of the impurities in our life. And the impurities in my life are fears, right? I don't want to be judged. I'm afraid of being judged. I'm afraid of sitting with my own thoughts. That one hit me. That one hit me. Did it hit you? I'm afraid of sitting alone, right? I'm afraid of feeling that depression. I don't want to feel that depression. I'm afraid of sobriety. I'm afraid of getting outside my comfort zone, right? These things scare me. And those are the impurities that I'm trying to purge from my life, right? The philosopher's stone is about getting rid of these impurities, of changing the base metals to gold, right? And I'm trying to get to my gold. I'm trying to get to my golden self. And I can't get to my golden self because I'm covering all these layers of fear, right? All of these layers of masks that I'm trying to cover to try to pretend to be something that I'm not. That's the programming I'm trying to change. And especially this time of year with the full moon and the energies that are around this time of year and new beginnings and fresh starts and, the year of the horse and just finished the year of the snake and the shedding of things that no longer serve me and the symbology of the horse taking off and new chapters. And it's exciting, right? But also freaking scary. Because I cling to these things that bring me comfort, right? These old patterns. Doesn't even have to be a substance, just these patterns and beliefs and thoughts that no longer serve me, right? Like telling Xander to conform in the photographs. Why let that go? That's an impurity, and I'm transmuting it, slowly turning myself into that golden version that I want to become. Because I always wish that I was a hardcore guy that would do the ice plunges in the morning and the saunas and the 100 push-ups before 5 a.m. And I'm not that guy. 90-day challenges and hardcore and let's go, let's go, let's go. I'm just not that guy. And I try to be, and I'm just not. And so I have to let that go. I got to just do this my way. And it's just a lot of freaking baby steps. And I want it to happen more quickly than it does. This whole transformation process, I want it to flip the switch immediately and just be the new me. But sorry, that's not how it's going to work. That's not how it works. So I'm trying to be at peace with that. And so I'm just trying to change things one little bit at a time, right? If I start spinning too many plates at once, it becomes overwhelming. They all crash to the ground and I give up. So if you're a 90-day challenge type person, good for you. Frickin' good for you. I wish I were you some days, but I'm not. So I think phase one is just recognizing these things that I would like to change in my life and not wanting to change them for anybody, right? Nobody's like over my shoulder or like, tisk, 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 you're doing this again, or nobody's doing that at all. The voice in my head is. I call that voice in my head Hal. Hal's always hounded me about all this stuff. And I'm learning to shut Hal up and learn to love myself through these changes and transformations because it's freaking scary stepping outside of our comfort zones, right? And I just got to remind myself that I'm the guy that faces my fears head on, right? I'm the guy that ejects himself out of his comfort zone, but it takes a while because I'm real stubborn. I'm the guy that wanted to face my fears of being homeless by living out of my car for several years. That's me. I'm the guy that faced my fears. I'm not scared of that anymore. And now I'm afraid to stop drinking coffee. Like, what are you doing, Matt? That's what I'm telling myself. But I have to love myself through it. Like, come on, you got this, bud. You got this, dude. What are you so worried about? Because the thing is I talk about, I talk about sobriety all the time. And frankly, I'm sick of talking about it because, actions speak louder than words. I want to just do it and not talk about it and just, because I could talk about it till I'm blue in the face, but until I'm actually hitting the ground doing the work, none of that matters, right? Like I want to eat healthier, but until I am, like enough is enough. Just do it. I started exercising, haven't exercised like ever. Just started doing some push-ups and sit-ups, just starting slow, right? Not doing a full 1 hour regimen every morning. That's too much. My arms feel like wet spaghetti noodles on day 3 today because I've been really pushing myself, doing my little granny push-ups in the morning. It's hard. It's real hard doing my 30 push-ups every day, but I did it. And I'm proud of myself, and it was freaking hard. And I'm going to do more next week and more the next week. And I'm going to slowly grow, right? And not beat myself up. If I skip a day or if I only do 20 push-ups, it's all right, I'm doing my best, right? So I talk about manifesting my dream life. And what does that mean, right? This golden version of myself. What does that mean? How do I manifest that? And I want to tell you what I'm doing and what that means to me. My dream life, I often talk about manifesting a winning lottery ticket. And I don't talk about it as like, well, that'd be cool if I could do that. I feel like I'm kind of embarrassed to talk about manifesting a winning lottery ticket because it just sounds greedy and gross. And like, why of all things, why don't you want to manifest world peace? Why are you trying to manifest like money? It sounds gross, but that's not my intention behind it. I want to manifest a winning lottery ticket because I know that I can do it. It feels like it's a part of my destiny and I can't explain it. I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't know the path to it, but I know that I'm on the path to it. And I just know that it's coming. And that's the strange thing is I can't explain it. It's illogical, but I just know that that's coming. And I want to talk about that more. So I just wanted to make that clear that like it's sort of a um, what am I trying to say here? It's just a test to make sure that I can do. Like I've manifested so many things for my life. It's a proof of concept, is what I'm trying to say. I just want to show myself that like I can do anything, including manifesting wild shit. Right? I tried to think of the wildest thing I could manifest. I could manifest a new job. I could manifest a new car. Like all these things are feasible to me, right? But manifesting a winning lottery ticket seems impossible. So when that bad boy comes in, it's going to blow everybody's mind except for mine because I know I already know it's here. It's hiding somewhere. I can't see it yet, but I know that it's coming. And so when I first started down this path of manifesting a winning lottery ticket, I was like, why do I want to do this? First of all, I want to do it for freedom. I just want freedom, really. I don't care about being rich. I don't care about having I live a very simple life, especially after living in my car for all those years. I don't need much. I don't have big, dreams of having a yacht, right? I just want a nice home to live in, a car to drive to the grocery store in, be able to vacation with my boys once in a while. And that's about it. That's kind of all I'm looking for. So, I don't need $500 million, right? But I want my goal this whole time, which I haven't really talked about it clearly. That's why I'm talking about it now, is to manifest a winning lottery ticket just to show myself I did it. God blessed me and took me on this path, right? It's not me. I'm not trying to take all the credit for it. But the intention behind it was to manifest a winning lottery ticket because I want to speak on stage. The path that I'm headed down is I want to use this podcast as a platform. I want to eventually start speaking on stage. I want to write a book about, I'm currently writing a book about my story, the last few years living in the car. And I also want to incorporate how I manifested a winning lottery ticket. There's so many people out there who are trying to manifest these things in their life, and I want to talk about it. I want to teach others to do what I have done. And so I feel like that's what this journey is about. And I haven't gotten there yet. The final chapter hasn't landed yet, but when it does, I'm going to hit the ground running and start telling everybody how to do it. And so that's been a part of my process this whole time is like, I'm going to win a lotto ticket, and then I'm going to teach everybody how to do it. That's the plan. And so this golden version of myself that I'm trying to create, this dream life I'm trying to create is to have freedom, right? To have freedom to do whatever I want, whenever I want, which a lottery ticket would allow me to do that. There are other avenues to do whatever I want, whenever I want, of course. And the universe often surprises me. So I'm trying to not hang on too tightly to how this thing plays out. My goal and my dream life is to be able to be myself, which is what we're talking about today. To just be free to be me. I'm the weirdo that talks about aliens at parties. Everybody knows it. I'm not embarrassed about it anymore. I'm not ashamed about it. I'll ask you if you've ever seen a UFO before, and I'll tell you about the time I saw one. Right? We'll talk about ghosts. We'll talk about all the wild shit, because that's who I am. And if you don't like it, that's cool. Love you. Have a good day. Right? So this is my dream life. It's not about being wealthy and rich. It's about just being able to do what I want, right? And so this dream life that I'm trying to manifest, that I'm currently in the process of manifesting, includes doing this, right? Podcasting. I freaking love it. I love talking about this shit. I love writing little funny comedy bits to put on the podcast. It juices me up, right? So when I picture the things that I want in my dream life, these are the things I think about. What does that look like to me? And you can ask yourself, what does it look like to you? We're all different, right? Yours are going to be completely different than mine, perhaps. I want to travel. I used to do food photography for, for Grubhub and Uber Eats and those companies, and I would travel all over the country to these different cities shooting for their apps, right? And I freaking loved it. And so when I think about my dream life, what do I want? I want to travel. I want to go to different cities frequently. I want to speak. I want to be on stage, right? I want to write a book. Okay, well, how do I get there? What does that look like? Well, the steps I need to take are like, well, I want to do a podcast. So how do I do that? Well, start making a podcast. Start doing it regularly, right? That's what it looks like to me. Sobriety is a part of this too. The golden version of myself, the highest version of myself, the version of myself that my soul is lovingly guiding me towards, nudging me towards, is sobriety. Because the version of myself that I see in the future in my dream life is not getting drunk every night, is not getting stoned every night, is not getting jacked up on coffee all the time, is balanced, right? The version of me that I'm going towards is balanced. And right now I'm slightly imbalanced and I'm working towards balance. And that's okay, right? So I'm just slowly working my way down that road, down that path of where I want to be. And then the universe just fills in the rest. That's how it works. When I was living out of my car, I didn't realize this. I thought like I just manifest something. I think about it hard enough with my mind. I concentrate hard enough. I do all the things that I'm supposed to do from the law of attraction, and I do all the things that Abraham says on the YouTube, and I follow all the advice that all the manifestors talk about. And so I thought like I'll just win a lotto ticket while living in my car, and it'll just appear, and I don't have to do anything other than just like think about it real hard. But that doesn't work, because what I wasn't doing was taking divine action. When the divine leads me to do this or to do that, I wasn't doing that. I was just kicking back, waiting for it to land in my lap. And so what I'm doing now is learning from those years and switching gears and heading and doing actions that will get me to where I want to be. I want to do a podcast. How do I get there? Start doing a podcast. Easy. It seems stupid when you say it, right? But it's like, okay, yeah, fine. You want to be a veterinarian. What does that mean? Well, you got to start going to school. Okay, start looking for schools. What school do I sign up for? Right? I want to be an artist. Okay, well, what kind of artist? Start doing it. Right? There doesn't have to be any rules, or you don't have to, because I create all these blocks in my mind, right? And I'm sure you do too. Okay, I want to be a podcaster and I want to start speaking. Okay, well, then my mind, how, starts whipping up all these excuses. Well, we don't have enough podcast equipment. Well, we can't do this. Well, this isn't going to be good enough. Well, we need to wait until we have X, Y, and Z. We don't have enough money to buy that. All these long list of excuses that just stop me in my tracks and keep me bogged down in my comfort zone, right? And the comfort zone is where I wither away and die. And so I'm sure if you're wanting to head towards your dream life, you're gonna need to prepare for a long list of excuses that are gonna suddenly pop up in your freaking brain, right? You're gonna have to wade through those and kick them aside and continue moving forward. And then the universe will take care of the rest. You start like when I wanted to be a photographer, I didn't know where to start. I had never started my own business before. That was terrifying to me. I don't know what to do. It's overwhelming. But I just started heading in a direction, right? I just started posting shit to social media and let's just see what happens. And then the universe took care of the rest. I took a couple of steps on my own in the direction that I wanted to head, and then the universe took care of it. I started getting phone calls from random people saying, hey, would you like to take photos for us? We'll pay you. And I was like, oh, well, didn't expect that to happen, but thank you, universe. Thanks, God, for looking out for me and helping me do the heavy lifting here, right? So I want to be an author. I want to write a book about my life. Well, that's not just going to happen. I have to actually start writing it. So once that book is written, I'm very confident that it will take off like wildfire. But I have to write the freaking book first, right? It's not just going to happen on its own. It's not just going to happen overnight, right? I want to be a speaker. Well, what does that mean? How do I get there? So I have to start talking on camera like I'm doing right now. I have to get used to speaking. I can't be shy about it, right? I have to be confident about it. Well, that takes a lot of practice. I better get started, right? And the more I do it, the more I build it up. Just like I'm building up my freaking wimpy ass biceps doing push-ups every morning. Right? So in this new year, I want to encourage you to step outside your comfort zone. If you feel so inclined, I want to encourage you that you can do it. It's going to be scary as hell. And I want to encourage you to continue pushing forward regardless of that. Because this is how we grow, right? These things that I've given up in my life that I've gotten rid of, I don't smoke weed anymore. I feel so good now, right? I feel amazing not smoking weed. The fog has lifted. I'm not a lazy lump of ass just sitting on the couch every day doing nothing, right? I'm pursuing my dreams. Couldn't do that stoned every day, that's for sure. But the voice in my head was telling me I needed to be stoned every day. The voice in my head was telling me to stay put. No, it's so warm and cozy here. Let's not do new things. That's scary, bro. And I said, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. I'm moving forward. I'm growing, bro. And you can too. Love you.